steering committee?
Pardon?
These are from the steering committee?
We've got Al Pettit, and John Barton, the co-chairs of the Structure Organization Committee.
Okay, I'd like to make a point of order. My name is Ronnie Hearn, and I object to the fact that the Structure Committee is presenting today as a late agenda item. The Structure Committee has been in existence for 5 months. It was established to possibly make radical revisions to the governing, possibly make radical differences to the governance of Coos County. I think that they should present their findings and their conclusions openly, by which I mean in a meeting where they have been on the agenda. I would request that you reschedule them onto a meeting where they are on the agenda, and I would also ask that when you do that, that you put out public service announcements for the TV, the radio, and the papers. These people were handpicked by the commissioners. All of you agreed to have these committees put together, governance and structure as well as the others. They were handpicked. I would think you would be proud of them, and rather than just sort of sneaking them in the back door as a late agenda item, and instead rather put them out for the public purview, because the findings and conclusions that these people have come to have some very heavy impacts for the future of Coos County government. I thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. I would like to object too, Mr. Chairman, because before this, at a meeting,
Excuse me.
you said Phil Thompson's my name, Coos Bay. You said we'd have a public meeting. I think this is a backdoor approach too. It'll be on Channel 14. People's going to view this, and whatever their conclusions is won't matter when we have the full meeting on a public hearing of this. And I don't think it's right. It should have been public, it should have been on the agenda as the committee that's going to speak. It shouldn't be a late agenda item. When was this brought up? When was it first put on?
It was put on at our meeting on Thursday, actually. The point being is that we have the ability, and it states right on the bottom of our agenda, that we can bring whatever matter we want to the meeting. The committee is going to officially present their report, which allows the board at that time to take it under consideration in the future.
Yes, sir.
And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I can assure you that we will have ample opportunity in the future to discuss this matter in many venues.
Mr. Chairman, I think you're getting off on the wrong foot. I remember a previous commissioner that brought up a lot of the late agenda items or emergency things that had to be dealt with where the public was never involved. Now, I think this is wrong. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
I object. You say you knew about it Thursday, then why wasn't it changed on the agenda if you knew Thursday? This is something that should have been put out and noticed for the public, and yet you knew Thursday and didn't put it on your agenda. I find that very strange, Mr. Phil. And improper.
Okay. This is going to be so brief you wouldn't believe it.
Thank you.
We have presented, each of you now have the findings and conclusions in a binder form, and on the opening of the binder there is a letter to the commissioners which basically asks that the people who participated not only in the committee but most especially the staff of Coos County be thanked profusely, in fact, for their participation. What you have within the binder it has been sort of sniffed as being opinion. It is an opinion. It's a consensus opinion of the committee. It is based on a substantial amount of experience both in the public and private sectors. And as you go forward and digest this and think about this and debate it, I think the committee stands ready to assist in any way we can. You have, Mr. Chairman, acknowledged that the time constraints prevent us from going forward with a PowerPoint presentation, but that will take place at a future time at your choosing, and we'll be happy to assist when that time comes. That said, we're done, unless Al has something you'd like to add.
Well, the only thing I would add to that is, gentlemen, this is the employees talking to you, this report. If 80% of the employees said that everything was hunky-dory, we wouldn't be sitting here. I guess the fact that we've caused so much angst in this process probably means we got the job done.
Yeah.
To a degree. If we don't get some changes done, then we haven't really accomplished our goal here, but this is the employees talking to you, so please don't lose that fact.
Late agenda items, number 5.
I don't have any, Mr. Chair.
Neither do I. Okay.
Yes, we do. Oh, you do, okay. I'll share this with everybody. Recently, there's been a lot of paper, I mentioned it when we were talking about Peter's comments in the paper, a lot of discussion. In my time as sheriff, the recent events in the paper and referral to the structure committee and the comments that came out has generated more calls to my office, more visits to my office, and more emails than anything else we've dealt with, which I find kind of interesting all on its own. And because of that, I spent a great deal of time reading, rereading, and going over the structure committee report that I'm not sure it ever formally got presented to the board, but I know that there's been presentations done on it out there. And having gone through that several times, I had to go back and call me an old fuddy-duddy. I spent 30 years as an investigator. I looked at what we were supposed to do, and so I'm here to present my structure committee findings, the minority report, because I have some concerns about the majority. And please, if you hold your comments, because this is extremely serious to me. I also talked to several members of the structure committee. Danila Kellum is here. She was in accordance with me. There was another individual, and I won't identify them because they asked to stay out of it, who said they were just done because they thought they were in agreement with me that we lost. So I want to share this report, and I will provide you copies with it. And as I said, this is obviously apparently the minority opinion, but I think it needs to be shared. The mission, as indicated in the majority report of the structure committee findings, was for the Coos County Structure Committee to assess the county's current organization structure and determine if the current structure is operationally adequate to meet today's financial challenges. If not, identify potential cost savings that might be obtained through existing structure or alternative structures. As a member of that committee, we were in attendance, and I speak for Danila and I, we were in attendance through most of the meetings and heard most of the information that was shared. We were not part of the original drafting of the report, but just discuss our concerns related to some of the information presented in that report. We will not repeat all those concerns here, but will address those we feel are most appropriate as related to the final conclusion presented on the last page of the majority report. As a committee, though, we did not identify positive changes or cost savings that could be obtained by the changes recommended. 1. The majority of the structure committee may have recommended that the county create and fill the position of county administrator at its earliest opportunity. However, at least 2 members of the committee stated that this type of change in county government was not acceptable without a vote of the citizens of Coos County. At no time were any specifics identified where the funding for this position and/or cost savings would be obtained to pay for this position. Nor was a vote taken as to this recommendation. Only generalities were discussed regarding this being a way to make the county run more efficiently and effectively. 5. Conclusions in the report were reached at least in part and based on the expressed opinions of approximately 20% of county employees. Most people would not accept this sample as it is simply too small to use for the base of any significant decision or conclusion. The questionnaire that was used was not adequately vetted, formatted, or weighted to deal with possible biases, prejudices, and/or improperly influenced opinions to be used for a foundation for the conclusions reached. and I include that in there because it has come to my attention, and I cannot give names and I will not, that at least 2 individuals feel they were coerced into changing what they submitted on their survey.